Hello and welcome to this short video all about how to register with Ofsted to become a Childminder. Childminding UK is a registered charity that provides information, resources, training and support for Ofsted-registered childminders. Our website has lots more information on the Becoming a Childminder page and also gives you the relevant links that you need. Firstly, just to confirm, childminders are defined as someone registered to provide paid childcare from domestic or non-domestic premises for children under 8 years old. Childminders can work alone or with up to 3 other childminders or assistants. You must register as a childminder if you'll be paid to care for someone else's children, the children are under 8 years old, the care lasts for over 2 hours on a day, you're working from domestic premises, usually your own home, which will be childminding with domestic premises, or you're working from a non-domestic premises, which is childminding without domestic premises. The process of registering can take several months, as there are certain security checks that need to be carried out and training that needs to be completed too. Before you begin, you need to decide which ages of children you wish to care for, because that will determine which of the Ofsted registers you need to go on and what training you need to do. There are 2 different registers. Firstly, the Early Years Register is for those of you who wish to care for children from birth until the end of their reception year in school. Secondly, the Childcare Register, which has 2 parts. The compulsory part is for children aged 5 to 8 years and the voluntary part is for children over 8. You can register on one or a combination of these. Most childminders register on all 3, as this gives them the flexibility to care for children of all ages. Once you have decided these things, you are ready to begin the registration process. Step 1. Apply for DBS checks and complete the health declaration form. These are police and other security checks that determine your suitability to care for children. You and every other person who lives or works in your home over the age of 16 will need to have an enhanced DBS check carried out. You must get your DBS checks carried out by Ofsted's DBS service, as Ofsted do not accept checks by other organisations. They recommend that you apply for the update service for at least the first year, as they will only accept DBS checks of less than 3 months old, and if there are any delays in your registration, your DBS could run out of date. The DBS checks can take about 6 weeks to come back, so we recommend that you apply for these first so that they are being processed while you complete your training. The health declaration form is part of the Ofsted application process. It is to check that you are physically and mentally well enough to care for children, but also that your health wouldn't be adversely affected by carrying out the role of being a childminder. It is a form that you download and print off. You will need to complete the first 2 sections about your physical and mental health, and then you take it to your GP surgery and ask the GP to complete the rest of the form. This health declaration does not involve a medical exam, and you also don't need to actually see your GP, although some people choose to if there is something in their medical history that they wish to discuss before the GP completes the form. The surgery will contact you when it is ready for collection, and then you will need to send it to Ofsted by email. Step 2. Book and complete your essential training. You will need to complete a full paediatric first aid training course, and this will need renewing every 3 years. You can do this as a face-to-face 12-hour course or a blended course where 6 hours will be online, followed by 6 hours face-to-face practical training. The suite of introductory training courses that we offer provide a rounded knowledge of what you will need to work effectively with children, ensuring the very best experiences for them to learn and grow, as well as the information that you need to effectively run your childminding business. The specific introductory training that you need will depend on which age of children you will care for and which registers that you will go on. The introductory training course consists of 5 modules that covers the early years foundation stage framework, how children develop and how to record that development, safeguarding and designated safeguarding lead, and a module on how to manage your childminding setting. If you are registering on the Early Years Register, you are required to have completed enough training or experience which will allow you to demonstrate knowledge and understanding of the Early Years Foundation Stage Framework, or the EYFS, and it is expected that you will continue to update this knowledge once you are registered. The EYFS is the document which contains the statutory welfare, learning and development requirements that all early years practitioners must adhere to when working with young children. Based on your previous working qualifications, you may not need to complete the EYFS module at this point. However, it is important to understand that this is what you will be assessed against in your registration visit and subsequent inspections. So a current and ongoing understanding of what the EYFS is and how to effectively implement it is essential. If you have no prior working knowledge of the EYFS, we recommend you to complete the EYFS training in advance of registration for the reasons that we've just stated. If you are registering on the childcare register only, you either need to have a level 2 in early years qualification or complete the common core training. In either case, there is no requirement for a specific course. Some courses are face-to-face training, some online, and some a combination of these. Your training does not need to be approved by your local authority, and it doesn't have to be a qualification. The Childminding UK Common Core training meets all the requirements of the Childcare Register and how to implement it within your setting, and it also includes the Safeguarding and Designated Lead training. These Childminding UK training courses are all completed online with no assessments or exams to complete, with the exception of the Level 3 award in preparing to work in home-based childcare. The training is CPD accredited and Ofsted recognised. If you already have an early years qualification, you may not need to complete the whole introductory training, but there may be some modules that you need to complete. We recommend our introductory training course for qualified and experienced practitioners. As you can see, there are a range of different courses available to suit your needs, but we are aware that you might still need some advice about which ones will be the most appropriate for you to complete. Do get in touch and we'll be happy to discuss this with you. Step 3. Apply to the correct Ofsted register. As a reminder, the Early Years Register is for children from birth until the end of their reception year, and the Childcare Register is split into two parts, one covering children from year 1 of school to the age of 8, and the second one for children over the age of 8. Most childminders register on both the Early Years and the Childcare Registers. You can't apply to Ofsted until your DBS checks have come back and your training is completed, or you will have completed it within the next 6 weeks. Ofsted have an online application form whereby you add all the details that they need from you. Once you have started the application form, you can save it and go back to it later if you wish to add the details as you get them. Ofsted have a legal duty to register you within 12 weeks unless something outside of their control prevents this. If you are registering on the Early Years Register, you will have a registration visit with Ofsted. You may also have a visit if you are registering on the Childcare Register, where 1 in 10 childcare registration applications will be required to have a visit. Ofsted are currently trying to complete the registration visits at around approximately 10 weeks where possible. You will receive a phone call a couple of weeks after submitting your application, where you will be able to arrange a provisional date for the visit. You will receive email updates as your registration is processed. While your application is going through, you can spend this time on getting your childminding environment ready. Step 4. Prepare for your Ofsted visit. So for those of you that will be having a registration visit, what do you need to do? The thing to remember, firstly, is not to panic. Ofsted need to ensure that you are going to provide a safe and an effective environment that meets the needs of the children, but they are not there to trick you. If you stumble over a safeguarding question, but they understand that you are nervous, they will give you time to answer and potentially a little guidance so that you can get across the points that you need to make without them giving you the answers. It is okay to refer to notes or folders such as the safeguarding folder if this might help demonstrate that you understand the issues and that you know where to get the information from. You should avoid being totally reliant on them though, as they will want to see what you know, not what you can read from a sheet. They are likely to review your safeguarding and complaints policies and will let you know during the phone call to organise your visit what else they might want to see. Having some resources to demonstrate how you'll organise play and learning will help to show you what your teaching intentions are and that you understand how to promote learning and well-being to different ages of children. You don't have to be fully resourced, but you should have enough resources to be able to open once Ofsted have agreed that you and your home are suitable. You should have a plan or wish list of the things that you want to buy once you are set up. For example, you may think that you'll need a double buggy, but unless you have the children lined up already to look after, you may not know what ages of children you'll be caring for or when you'll need it. So Ofsted will accept that this is something that you'll buy later. It is the same with toys and resources. You will need some to start off with that are suitable for the ages of children that you aim to care for, but you will be able to add to this as you get to know what the children are interested in and what they need. If you apply to join the Early Years Register, you will need to show that you have fully understood the requirements of the EYFS, as Ofsted will not be able to register you if you can't. This includes that you meet the premises requirements. So Ofsted needs to know about security. Are the premises secure so children cannot leave on their own and unauthorised people cannot enter? Space. Is there enough room for the number of children and the activities that you plan to run? Facilities. Do you have the facilities to care for children of the ages that you'll be looking after and the activities that you plan to run? Hygiene. What toilets and hand washing facilities are available and how will you maintain general cleanliness? Health and safety. How do you meet fire safety legislation? What equipment do you have on site, for example extinguishers and fire alarms? And what is your evacuation procedure? First aid. What first aid equipment is available and what will you do in the case of an emergency? Learning walk. Show the different areas of your childminding setting and give an explanation of how you intend on using it and provide details of risk assessments that you have carried out. Please be aware that they can look at any part of your home, including areas that won't be used directly for your childminding setting. Risk assessment and risk benefit of your childminding premises. Highlight anything else that you feel is important to share with your inspector related to risk and how you have decided to manage it. If you are planning to childmind with domestic premises, they will visit your home to do the registration visit. If you are planning to childmind without domestic premises, they will visit the setting that you're planning to use to do the registration visit. Your inspector will tell you at the end of the day if you have passed and if they will recommend your registration. It is worth saying here that the inspector has to justify their decision, so they will need to give their evidence to their managers who will confirm or not the decision that they have made. Shortly after this, you will receive your certificate of registration by email, and it is at this stage that you can begin childminding. Step 5. Follow the legal requirements. There are a number of other things that you need to do to ensure that you are legally compliant. You will need public liability insurance, and as a member you're able to pick up a discount with Morton and Michael, who are childcare specialists. You will need to make sure that your home and car insurance is set up for business use. This isn't normally difficult, but you might need to call them rather than do it online, and you may have to swap each year. You will also find that it may not increase in cost either. You need to register with the Information Commissioner's Office as a data controller, which costs around £40 a year. Within the first year of business, you will also need to register with the HMRC as a sole trader in advance of your first tax return. If you think childminding is for you, please visit our website childmindinguk.com, where you will find a dedicated page to becoming a childminder. Or feel free to give us a call on 01536 210 685 and we'll be really happy to answer any questions that you have. Why don't you also take a look at our other YouTube videos for more information about registering and working as a childminder.